everyone. First of all, thanks for the introduction because Elon Musk and my name being in the same sentence, that's quite something. But I'm here to talk to you about plants. The world which we live in today is running off plants. Think about it. The food we eat comes from plants. The clothes we wear comes from plants. The wood on the stage comes from plants. The paper you hold, everything. In fact, the electricity which powers this room, that comes from plants too. Because most of the electricity comes from coal, and coal is nothing but plants which grew on this planet millions of years ago, died, got buried under the earth's crust and became coal. The same is true with every fossil fuel. What does that mean? That means that every drop of oil we drill out of the earth today was part of a plant long ago. Every single bus or car or plane which is moving today is because of plants. It's amazing if you think about it. Because plants are like nature's solar cells. I mean, channeling the sun's energy into chemical energy using photosynthesis and pushing it into its roots, shoots, everything else. And it is this stored energy, this biomass, which is the foundation of the world we live in today. But this isn't something new, because agriculture has been one of the oldest professions known to us. In fact, agriculture was the reason why humans moved out of a hunter-gatherer lifestyle, got more food security, and could settle down in denser populations and actually form the beginnings of civilization. And we've done quite well since that time. I mean, in the last 10,000 years, we've grown from almost a few million people to almost 7 billion people on this planet. This is a graph which shows how our population has increased over the last 50 years. We all know the population is increasing and our planet has limited resources. But I want to show you this other graph over here. And that is how our agricultural area has increased over the last 50 years. What you see is from the 1960s to the 1990s, the agricultural area was growing. But suddenly after that, it's hit a plateau. We don't have more agricultural land. But the population is still increasing. How is that happening? Because most of the biomass we use today is from fossil fuels. Plants which grew on this planet millions of years ago. But that isn't going to last forever. It's finite. So if we do have to grow more biomass, how do we do that? And this problem is especially bad for a country like India. What you see on the left is the per capita land availability, the amount of land available per person for various countries. And this is India. It's lower even than China, despite having a smaller population. And on the right is a graph of, is a picture showing the water scarcity across various countries in Southeast Asia. Look at the country in red. So in India, we're running out of land, we're running out of fresh water. And how do we expect to grow more biomass? To me, it's actually quite a scary scenario. But what if I told you that there is a solution? There is a solution to grow more biomass, which requires zero land and zero fresh water. In fact, I think it is the only solution we have. And that is to take agriculture into the oceans. Agriculture and oceans. It's not as far-fetched as you may think. Because ocean agriculture has been going on for quite some time now. This is a picture of a seaweed farm in Indonesia. And certain parts of Indonesia, you'll see hectares upon hectares of ocean covered with seaweed farms. And what do they grow there? There are various kinds of seaweeds which are grown. I've just shown tree over here, and it is these seaweeds which go into your milkshakes, your toothpaste, your ice creams. It's just that you never knew about them. You've probably eaten them already. But there's a reason why you don't know about ocean agriculture. And that's because it's currently limited to a very few number of countries. Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, China. And why is that? Because these countries have been blessed with really shallow waters and really calm waters. You try to grow the same seaweed with the same technology off the coast of Mumbai or Chennai, it's not going to last even a day. So, what if we could grow these seaweeds? Because for a seaweed in the ocean, it really doesn't matter whether it's calm or rough. I mean, all it needs is the water around it, sunlight and nutrients. But to make this possible, what you really need is a means of growing these seaweeds in rough waters. And for that, you need two things. One, a system to hold the seaweed in place. You need to be able to hold large amounts of seaweed on the ocean surface at a low cost. And once these seaweeds are grown, you need the second thing, which is actually equipment to farm these structures. Because you're not going to have an army of swimmers or divers going and harvesting the seaweeds for you. And that is what we do at C6 Energy, farming the oceans. So here's a picture of how our seaweed farm looks like. What we've done is, instead of resisting the sea, we adapt to the sea surface. So we've essentially created a large, flexible structure on the sea. What happens when it's flexible? The moment a wave hits, instead of resisting the wave, it actually takes the same shape as the wave. And this allows us to actually go for structures which are relatively lower in cost. And you see this small green bit over here. I think if you play the video, you'll see it better. That is how we farm these structures. I think I'll go without it. That's fine. Sorry about that. What I had a video was actually showing how the entire farm worked. But I think I'll explain on this picture. So, on this entire flexible structure, what you need is a system which can actually harvest all the seaweeds. So this tiny green unit here, what it does is it actually harvests the seaweed in front of it as it moves forward, and at the same time, it seeds small bits of seaweed behind it. This is simultaneous seeding and harvesting of seaweeds. So the day I want to harvest the farm, the big ship comes and docks next to it, and then our little boat over here, what we call the sea combine, simply because it has multiple functions, almost like a combined harvester, moves to and fro this structure, harvesting the seaweeds, and chopping it to small bits, and pumping it back to the mothership by the small line over here. Why do you need to pump it back? Because this structure, on a good harvest, can yield you as much as 100 tons of fresh seaweed. And that's too much for a little boat to handle. So, after a day's work, it has scanned the entire structure, pumped all the seaweeds to be harvested into the mother boat, seeded it, and then it comes and parks itself back onto the boat, and now the boat heads back to shore to unload its load of seaweed. So now we have lots and lots of seaweed coming in every day. What do you do with this? Our seaweed has multiple variety of uses. One, of course, is crude oil. And this isn't just any crude oil. This is crude oil which we at C6 Energy have made from the seaweed we grow. And this crude oil is like any other crude oil in the sense you could pump it into any refinery and you would get petrol, diesel, LPG and a whole bunch of items which come out of it. And it's not just crude oil. There's also animal feed which comes out of seaweeds. There's cosmetics which can be made out of seaweeds. Food ingredients. Plant biostimulants which improve plant growth. And biodegradable plastics. A whole host of possibilities from the same biomass. In fact, I want you to imagine this scenario. Let's say there's a farm on the sea, which is quietly growing. It effectively takes sunlight, carbon dioxide and water with some nutrients from the ocean and gives you lots of seaweed. This seaweed goes into what we call the biorefinery. Why do we call it the biorefinery? Because of the variety of uses which come out of seaweed, we don't want to waste even a single drop. And this biorefinery produces crude oil, which goes into a normal petroleum refinery. But the beauty about it is, what are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are essentially long chains of carbon and hydrogen. Where does the carbon and hydrogen come from? The carbon and hydrogen comes from carbon dioxide and water. Which means, if you extract all the hydrocarbons from the biomass, what you are left with is just the nutrients. So you could take all the nutrients coming out of the biorefinery as a byproduct and pump it back into the farm to provide seaweed. So now what you've essentially created is a closed system. A closed system which only takes in sunlight and carbon dioxide and water and converts it into crude oil. So just like you have oil rigs in the sea, you actually have an oil farm on the sea. Just sitting, growing seaweed, soaking up sunlight and exporting oil to whoever needs it. The possibilities are just beginning. I mean, think about it. What if tomorrow someone came up with a strain of rice or a strain of maize which could grow in seawater? Then instead of growing seaweeds, you'd be growing these plants in the sea. So not only are you getting a source of biomass, you're actually growing food on the sea. Again, not as far-fetched as you would think, because growing plants in water is already a done deal. It's called hydroponics. There are people who commercially cultivate crops in water and sell the produce. So why not do it on the sea? I mean, this is only the beginning, my friends. I'm sure somewhere far in the future you may even have huge floating cities powered by solar panels with solar farms around that producing food. The possibilities are literally endless. In fact, the oceans are calling for us, and we will have the privilege of watching this potential grow. Thank you.